Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Monday, September 20th, 2021, and I am Sierra Dyson. We are back with another broadcast where we will keep you up to date on activities in Stephenville and the surrounding areas, as well as inform you of news from around the globe. Today, I will be talking about a new Tarleton hire, COVID-19 cases update, Gaby Petito search, and more, all coming up next on Texan TV. In campus news, Tarleton State University has recently hired Dr. Sherry Ben as the new Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Ben began her career at Texas State University, where she served as the Dean of Student Office, the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, and the Assistant VP for Institutional Inclusive Excellence. At Tarleton, Ben will be responsible for cultivating a climate that encourages diversity and inclusion throughout the Tarleton community by creating programs and supporting the students from almost 36 countries, 43 states, and 228 Texas counties. In local news, Erath County COVID numbers have increased in the past week with a total of 131 new cases between September 10th and September 15th. Out of the current COVID numbers, 229 of those cases are in Stephenville alone. This makes the total number of cases in the county since the pandemic started in March over 4,000. Currently, 20 people are being hospitalized for COVID, with the rest recovering at home. Hood County had 7 more COVID-related deaths during the same time period and has 871 active cases, including 24 hospitalizations. All of the ICU beds available at Lake Granbury Hospital are now full. And now, today's Texas, national, and international news from the Associated Press. United States Border Patrol agents are working diligently to remove 12,600 Haitian immigrants from a bridge in Del Rio, Texas, after they crossed over from Ciudad Acuna, Mexico. Border Patrol agents have removed over 3,000 of the immigrants since Friday alone, 320 of whom were flown back to Port-au-Prince. Border Patrol Chief Raul L. Ortez said, "We are working around the clock to expeditiously remove immigrants out of the heat, elements, and from underneath this bridge to our processing facilities in order to quickly process and remove individuals from the United States." 6 more flights are scheduled to return immigrants to their home country by Tuesday until everyone is gone. These actions are in wake of the law Trump passed in 2020, which allows immigrants to be immediately removed from the country without an opportunity to seek asylum. In national news, today, police went to the home of the boyfriend wanted for questioning for Gaby Petito, whose body was possibly found over the weekend in a Wyoming national park. Brian Laundrie's parents were served a warrant and seen getting into a police van at their house in Northport, Florida. Petito and Laundrie had left on a cross-country trip in a converted van to visit national parks in July and got into a fight in August that led to them being separated for the night by police officers in Moab, Utah. When Laundrie returned home alone on September 1st, Petito was declared missing. A body was found in a Wyoming national park on Sunday by the FBI, and the autopsy is set for Tuesday. In international news, after 6 Palestinian prisoners managed to break out of a maximum security prison in Israel on September 6, the final 2 escapees that had yet to be found were detained by Israeli authorities on Sunday. The Israeli military surrounded the men at a hideout in Jin until the 2 prisoners eventually peacefully surrendered. The other 4 prisoners had been arrested at an earlier date during 2 different operations. The Israeli government had classified all 6 men as terrorists, while Palestinians located in the Gaza Strip and West Bank had been praising the prisoners and their escape efforts. For more of today's national and international news, we turn to the AP News Minute.
This is AP News Minute. The United States has begun flying some of the Haitian migrants detained at the U.S.-Mexico border back to their homeland. Border Patrol authorities say that 3,000 migrants have already been removed from the Del Rio camp to planes or detention centers. Officials say a gunman opened fire at a university in Russia on Monday morning, leaving 6 people dead and several hurt. The gunman was detained after the shooting at Perm State University. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has arrived in New York to co-host a closed-door session with world leaders to discuss climate negotiations. Another meeting is scheduled in Scotland in 6 weeks, and those talks are designed to be the next step after the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement. And one of Italy's most popular parades, the Via Reggio Carnival, has returned to the city after being postponed due to COVID-19. Tackling themes including the pandemic, the floats this year point to issues such as deforestation in Brazil and racial injustice in the U.S. Ron Harris, Associated Press, with AP News.
In sports, Tarleton volleyball and football both saw action this past weekend away from Stephenville. The volleyball team would go 1-2 at the Islander Classic for the weekend. Their first match on Friday saw them drop a heartbreaking 5-set loss from the Sunbelt foe, Texas State. Then, Saturday morning, the Texans would lose to UTEP in 4 sets. However, the team would turn it around Saturday evening when they defeated tournament host Texas A&M Corpus Christi in 4 sets. The football team traveled to Choctaw Stadium, the former home of the Texas Rangers, for a wild game against future WAC foe Southern Utah. The first half ended with the game all tied up 28-all and saw 0 punts from either team. Then, in the second half, the defenses made their adjustments and flipped the script. With a little more than 2 minutes left in the game, the Texans were leading 35-34, but Southern Utah marched down the field and scored the eventual game-winning touchdown. The Texans would fall to the Thunderbirds 40-35. Now for weather, we turn to Nick Ratcliff.
Good afternoon, Texans. Today we're going to have a high of 101 degrees with a low in the 70s. For the rest of the week, the temperatures will be in the mid-80s all the way down to the mid-50s. Stay warm, Texans.
This has been a production of Texan TV News, a product of the Texan News Service from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Watch us live on Apogee, channel 2.1 in the dorms at 12:30 weekdays. If you live off campus, tune in on Northland Cable, channel 9. You can follow the Texan News Service on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our website at www.texannews.net for all of your latest local, state, national, and international news. Today's broadcast was produced by the Texan TV staff. Be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions about today's stories in the comments below. Have a wonderful day, Texans.